Amy, what values did you learn from your first job at McDonald's to propel you to the general manager of Kicks 96?
So much. Giving back to community, have strong systems, and work with consistency. A Big Mac here and a Big Mac in Dayton, Ohio taste the same, but it's done with tenderness and care and with people.
Welcome to this edition of the Hoel Truth Podcast. Today, our special guest is Amy Dillon from Kicks 96. And just wanted to take a time, jump on here with her and just kind of chit chat. We've just joined a partnership with them to do some marketing to continue our brand in Richmond. But the podcast will be, quite a bit bigger than just that partnership. But take a second to introduce yourself.
Born and raised in Richmond. Started my marketing career based on an aptitude test in high school. And it pointed me towards PR and marketing. And so I went to IU East, stayed in town, got a job with the local McDonald's franchisee, started doing some entry-level marketing and worked my way up with him. Went to the radio stations, took the sandwich of the month and all these fun things that we got to do with the media as well. And then came the day that I crossed the desk and worked for the radio station. Started out helping people with their marketing, worked my way up through radio, worked in a couple other larger markets, and then ended up having the opportunity to come back and be the general manager of the station where I started. So I'm 9 minutes from the house. My family's all in Wayne County, and life is good.
So how long have you been with Kicks 96 then?
So I've been back 10 years, and I was there 8 years prior. Took a 15-year hiatus at other stations.
Okay. Did you always live in Wayne County?
Yeah.
Or did you? Okay.
I did.
Okay.
I commuted to Muncie, commuted to Indianapolis, did 2 years on the weekend warrior drive to Terre, Haute, then came back to Richmond 10 years ago.
So what'd you learn from them other experiences?
I tell you what, anytime that you can pick the good, the bad, and the ugly from experiences, I learned some systems that I just treasure and developed further, and they've really helped us. You also pick up on what not to do sometimes. So I think it's really helped me be well-rounded, built my leadership skills, and I've got a lot of good mentors that I model what I do and my decisions and behaviors after.
So how long, because like one thing that I feel like the internet's a beautiful thing and the cell phones and everything at the touch of our hands. But if there's one downfall, it's the younger generation just expects like, oh, I should be the general manager of this, or I should be, I should make twice as much money. So like, I feel like that's just something that, I don't want to say it's a lost art, but it's something that we struggle with in our current society maybe. So like tell some of them stories of entry level at McDonald's marketing, which, it
was doing birthday parties for little kids and putting up the window displays, very entry level.
Yep.
And we had 5 McDonald's and there were about 3 of us at each McDonald's. And then when the marketing director moved unexpectedly, I applied for her job, which is really why I went to work there. I wanted that job.
Right.
And eventually got the job and then supervised the people that were doing what I was doing prior.
Yep.
But yeah, the art of working your way up in a company, I'm not going to say it's lost, but it's more rare than it used to be.
Well, and, and another thing is like we have this conversation of like sticking to something. Once again, we've become an overnight success at Hoel Roofing and Remodeling at almost 9 years old now. Like, but it's overnight success, but it's, that's something else that I get the opportunity to talk to a lot of kids, a lot of high schoolers. We support a lot of different high schools with the Dave Ramsey curriculum. And it's like, I try to go in there and I feel like I just beat a dead horse every single time I walk in there. I'm just like, show up early, like stay off your phone, do your job, do more than you get paid for, but I guess like that other thing was like, try to stick with something. Now, I also always tell them they're 16, 17, 18 years old. They don't know what they want to do when they grow up. That's okay also, but don't go get a job here for 3 months and then over here for 3 more months. Because I said eventually people's going to be like, oh, they're going to work for me for about 3 months. And, that's it. Now, we're very fortunate with our team. We've got several people that will have 4 years in with us this year. One young man just had 5 years. I mean, he's still in his 20s and he's worked here 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
So we've been fortunate to kind of find kind of that people that are looking for a little more commitment, I guess, but yeah, I guess that's one thing that, especially if we're going to talk marketing, like you've got to be able to try something and stick to something, for a little bit also. So
you're singing my language there, but I know what you're saying. The days of going to work for a company and retiring 40 years later, you don't see a lot of that anymore. I think part of you see it some, depends on, I think, the culture of the company and if they're truly developing leaders mm-hmm. or if they're developing workers. Mm-hmm. Dan Mills, the Buddha, has been with us for 42 years.
Wow.
Started his job here at 18 years old and has been here since.
Wow.
Laura Bailey has been doing the marketing for her clients. She's in her 22nd year.
Yep.
I was, 13 years plus the 10 that I've come back to. But I think it's the culture that we have, and we try to develop leaders and help people know their importance mm-hmm. and that we value and appreciate them. As the economy has shifted, people are wearing more hats and stretching themselves over more departments, and different jobs are combining into one now. It's harder, I think, for the general business world to instill those values.
Well, and, I guess another thing that you kind of brought up, another thing is that stuff changes so quick now, and businesses have to continue to change or they might not be in business. Like, I mean, I think of before I got into construction, I was in environmental consulting. Yeah. And I mean, that company is either completely dissolved or all but dissolved. And it hasn't been that long ago that I was there, so it's like, but I could look back and see some things that they were doing that they weren't evolving, they weren't changing enough, right. So
I mean, when I look at the radio industry, the technology's allowed us to be on people's cell phones, yep. on the computers. I walk through my house, I've got 5 Alexa devices in my house and 1 radio in the garage. But I can walk in any room and say, hey, Alexa, play Kix 96, and there's Sean and Dave in the morning.
Right.
And I think that type of staying with technology is what's helped radio still thrive.
So what are some new things, or like what are some challenges with radio? What's some things that Kix 96 does different? And what challenges do you have being in a market the size of Richmond and not being in a market the size of Indianapolis?
I've done both. And I think it's a blessing to be in the size market that we are in Richmond and Wayne County. We've got a 50,000 watt transmitter. So our stations go all the way down to Cincinnati and up to Fort Wayne and over to Indianapolis and almost not quite to Columbus. But not that we're anybody's favorite radio stations in those towns, but we are able to talk to businesses between Indianapolis and Richmond for those listeners that could go either way and do mm-hmm. business. Our rates are affordable. When I was working in Indianapolis, the local business owners, unless you were a car dealer or had a lot of corporate backing, it was difficult mm-hmm. to market yourselves. So we're able to offer rates and a media product, whether it's Kix 96 or 117 The Point or 95.3 The Legend or the hometownheadlines.com. Or some digital products that we have at our fingertips now too, to really be able to develop a custom marketing plan for a customer based on the resources that they have to put towards it.
What, why'd you come back to be general manager? What makes Richmond, Wayne County, full disclosure, my wife's, grew up from Centerville, so we
Go
transplanted her over to Rush County. But, I joked with you when me and Adam came up there and met with you guys. It's like, my wife always has Kicks 96 on. And it's like, I don't know if she signed something at birth that she couldn't listen to anything else, because it's not even coming in because we're so far away, and she's still trying to get Kicks 96. I just think it's funny.
It's a great community. Like I said, I've lived there all my life, and I've worked in other communities and see how they operate. But I tell you, Richmond and Wayne County, we do a lot of business in Union County and Liberty and Greenville. And I think I'll say not just Richmond, but the footprint that we have are people that do have access to making decisions. They are the heart and soul of their companies. Mm-hmm. And the more that we can help them grow and sustain, the better everybody is.
Right.
I just started a message that started this morning that talked about buy local just isn't a slogan.
Right.
It's critical.
Mm-hmm.
Support the local businesses, help them grow. They're the ones that are giving our kids their first jobs. They're the ones that are sponsoring the prom and helping the kids be out on the t-ball fields. And every dollar that we spend locally helps repair a truck.
Right.
Helps hire a new person, helps replace worn out equipment, whatever the case may be. Fix their roof.
Right.
So I think our size communities, and Rushville included,
right,
they get that.
Well, and it's and I kind of had that uphill battle, or not really uphill battle, because I had my mind made up that we were going to start a business here, but people are like, why? And I'm just like, it's just the rural communities, just to raise your family to do business, people, and it's just, there's just something special with that when you get in the big city and, it's just, there's just no, I don't know, we're in a process of trying to hire, or we're in a process of hiring another office person. And I love when we interview people from around here, because I can just get on Facebook,
look them up,
and or call so-and-so and be like, hey, what is your opinion here, or ask in the office, mm-hmm, hey, do you know this person? And, the trick there is I want to hire within my sphere of influence, but I also don't want to narrow it down. I want to be open to, to other opportunities also when it comes to that kind of stuff. So,
we're family owned and operated, just like your company is. Right. I saw the kids over here sweeping the floor, yep, and restocking the bathroom when I walked in today, That's
because my girls this morning decided that hitting each other was going to solve the problem. And their dad, full disclosure, probably shouldn't admit this on air, is working on his discipline there with his kids. And I said, so you girls are going to do nothing fun today. I said, I want to whip your butt. But I said, we're just going to go with, you're going to read a book and you're going to be productive. However, they are good kids. They
greeted me and smiled and looked me in the eye.
Yeah.
Really good kids. And much like, you bringing your kids in, shoot, one of our air staff had a baby. We had a bassinet in the station for months.
Right.
Right. It's what you're able to do. And you can't do those things. You can't operate the same in the larger markets or with a publicly held company. There's just too many rules.
Right.
We don't even have a handbook.
Right.
We have guidelines, we have procedures,
yep,
we have systems, but we're small enough that we're able to take each situation on its own merit and make human decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just like you. I had to bring my kids in today.
Yep. So, how old is do you consider it Kicks 96, or what's I'm sure there's probably a mother company per se.
We're Brewer Broadcasting.
Okay.
And we're owned by Jim Brewer. Jim lives in Chattanooga.
Okay.
His brother lives in Carmel, so they own Brewer Broadcasting.
Okay.
And their nephew as well. Jim has stations called Brewer Media Group in Chattanooga that have a common owner, but we're separate companies.
Okay.
But his daughter has my role in Chattanooga.
Okay.
So, and I feel like he's family. I've known him for 30 years.
Now, did they ever live in Richmond?
They started out in Terre City, Indiana.
Okay.
And then bought the stations up here, and a couple of their staff moved up here.
Okay.
Matter of fact, the guy that hired me years ago in radio came from Terre City.
Okay.
And he's the gentleman whose chair I sit in now.
Nice.
So nice evolution.
Yeah.
So there definitely is some strong roots here.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, like I said, like I remember Kicks 96 from a kid, and we kind of had that conversation when we met a couple of weeks ago at the office. Is like, some of the other stations, they've shifted, it's just once that evolution of business, and you've got to stay relevant, but you still got to, like you said, make human decisions. And I think that's the thing that corporate America struggles with. I feel like maybe they're starting to get back to maybe trying to do some more of that, because like, I'll be honest, in our world, private equity is trying to buy every service company that they can.
Right.
And I mean, coming in and offering money that would make you blush,
right.
And it's like, and then, but I've watched them companies like become almost non-existent, or like a friend of mine in Ohio picked up and opened a different office in another location because there was such a big group of people from that company that private equity bought that was ready to leave, and they wanted to stay together. And he had an office practically overnight, so.
Yeah,
but
we've seen that. Yeah.
So it's kind of the love-hate relationship. Like, some people say, what's too big, what's too small, that kind of stuff. But what are some cool things that maybe Kicks 96 does for the communities, that, kind of like why you get up every day and do what you do?
I think everybody wants to feel like they make a difference. And we encourage our staff to find their niche that matches with their personal goals and their values in the radio station, and then serve the community as well. We're coming up on a busy weekend in Richmond with the Richmond Meltdown Festival, and I'm the marketing chairman of the committee. It's a volunteer piece. I volunteer with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Wayne County. I'm on the United Way board. Mm-hmm. Billy, our program director on Kicks 96, he's part of the Historic Depot District's committee. Cindy, and I mean, everybody's involved in something, whether it's 4-H or a BNI group, or to help give back, and stay connected. Again, something that was harder to do in the larger towns.
Right.
We can do here, and our company supports it. I mean, the Historic Depot District meets once a month on Wednesdays at 9:30. Well, that's during Billy's shift.
Right.
Go.
Right.
Do it. So very supportive, supporting local and making a difference. As well as with our customers, we really take the cookie cutter stuff and pitch it out the window. We want to sit down with somebody and find out what they need to have happen, what's unique about them, and then customize marketing plan for their goals and their resources to help them grow. When I first got into radio, one of my early clients was a tanning bed. And this guy was, 23, 24 years old, and I wasn't much older. And he said, I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30. Help me. Oh, no pressure, But back in the day when we had those pagers, I would get a page from him with the 911 afterwards. And if I was anywhere nearby, I called or I stopped in. And we had developed the relationship that any marketing decisions that he made, he asked my advice on it. Right. And some I'm like, yeah, do it. Or others, well, let's see if we can do this instead. And you know what? He made his goal. And now he's a president of a large company in the tanning industry. So it feels cool I don't think I helped him get there, but I may have played a small part. And I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the part of leadership. That's the part of ownership, of like, how do you, because like, everybody around here is probably tired of me, like, but what's your goal? Like, what are you aiming for?
Yeah.
Because like,
you really want to have happen in your life.
Yeah. And, and I'm a big believer that we create things, and, like, yes, we serve a God. God is in control of everything. I'm not acting like I'm above God or anything, but I'm just saying, like, we create a lot of stuff, and whatever that is, our relationships, our health, our finances, like, whatever that looks like, like was telling the kids the other day, and I mean, my oldest will be 11 here pretty soon, and he likes sitting in meetings, and and we're just talking like, guys, you got to do something today that's going to make an impact in 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 years. Like to me, what I really enjoy is like having a hometown kid like Adam behind the camera that is gifted in videography and that stuff, that he can serve a local company, and he doesn't have to drive to Indianapolis to have a job,
and it's something he is passionate about,
right?
And will do good,
right? And that's his calling. He's good at it. It's like sometimes he tries to explain stuff. Almost like, Adam, I trust you. You've doing it. Like you're hurting my head even trying to figure this out.
Surround yourself with others that know more than we know. And
you got to put smarter people, around you. And but it is also like he's on a health journey right now, and he's like practically at 100 pounds lost.
Hey.
Passed it this morning. So like, and to watch him over the last 6 months, it's kind of cool because my dad is also very close to 100 pounds, and my dad now semi-retired, so he pretty much comes in, bugs us too much here, but it's good. He's my dad. I love him. But I heard him the other day. They were kind of having a conversation about who was going to get there first. But like to watch that, like to me, that's a lot of fun. If it's our sales manager, Chris, is at home, had a baby a week ago today. Like to me, that's what gets me excited, like to get up and, to watch young families and, just mentor and just help as many people, as possible. And, I hate to say it, I've come to the point though that I've realized that you've got to help the people that want helped.
Right.
Because I guess early in my career, I thought I could help everybody.
Fix everybody?
Yeah, I'm like, nope. If you don't want to do it, so.
Yeah, your lenses and get a little more clear as you get it into this.
Well, and then like my kids, like they, I said that I'm working on like how I'm disciplining them. I mean that, like I'm really trying to focus on like the kids, like they're 7, 9, and 10 right now. Like I know in a blink of an eye, they're going to be out of the house.
Yeah.
And, my son's, like I said, almost 11 now, and he's starting to be like the kind of side hug instead of the big, and I'm like, hey, punk, you can still give me a real hug, But it is fun that they get to come in here, be around the team, meet celebrities like you that work for Kicks 96. Reagan's all excited, So, I mean, it is a lot of fun there. So what, is there any really big changes, anything new coming from Kicks 96 that you could talk about?
Yeah, well, I can tell you about towards the end of last year, we launched a new product. We saw a gap in good news. And so, so some of my radio friends have e-newspapers that are community-based, that are all about good news and stories about difference makers, stories about nonprofits, story about people's business successes. And we launched ours at the end of last year. Awesome. It's called the hometownheadlines.com. Real proud of that. It's in its infancy, but the indicators show that we hit the nail on the head as far as filling a gap that's not being served here. When people look at moving to a small company, to a smaller community, they look at everything.
Right.
And so much of what is so readily available, I'm not blaming social media, but that's a whole nother story.
Yep.
So much of what's readily available isn't necessarily the attractive news. And we have a news product. We do morning and afternoon news on our stations as well, and it's 5 or 6 stories a day. And we do cover some hard news, but also some light news. So this was an opportunity for us to showcase the really good things in our footprint. About 12 counties that I know we posted stories about already. Health, education, government, nonprofits, all have such good stories to tell.
Right. Well, and I mean, unfortunately, good news doesn't necessarily sell, if we're just being honest, because
I get it. Yeah.
As as a country, like it's, you know, the bad news or the expose this person, like, you know, this business guy did this wrong. Okay. How about we, you know,
splash it everywhere.
Show the 5 guys that did it right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like there's good business people out there.
So this is available
right.
for when you need that pick me up.
So how do you guys push that out? Like, is it email? Is it like?
So it's on the hometownheadlines.com.
Okay.
We have a social media page that we post the stories and share it among ourselves. And we've got 3 radio stations that we promote it on as well. So I think that's part of what the Fast Start has.
Yep.
I mean, we have over 700 Facebook followers in just 6 or 7 weeks.
Awesome.
But it's because we have the media power to put behind it ourselves.
Yeah, but also, like, people are tired of the bitching and the complaining. Like, I'll just say it's my podcast. Like, you know, like, you want, you know.
Give me a dose of good news.
Yeah, you can waller and poop all day and then complain why does it smell, or you can go find the roses and enjoy the smell, you know. So, no, I mean, it's just, once again, that goes back into that leadership thing. Like, you've got to look at the bright side, you know, got to love your kids, not to whip them, you know, and just make them read for a couple hours or
sweep the floor.
Yeah, sweep the floors. But anyways.
You've got choices.
Yes, absolutely. So, but kind of what does our partnership look like? You know, and what are some things that, you know, we can work together moving forward? Like, yes, I understand we're on the radio. I think the first day they ran, I got a friend that reached out to me and was like, "Hey, awesome job. I heard you guys." So that was fun. So
fun. That is fun. You know, the main thing is open communication, keeping your message fresh, but keeping that whole roofing, the only hole your roof needs, prominent in there. I love the fact that we got the music hook right. Every time I hear it, it's like, oh, yeah, it's good. But I mean, I'm going to connect you with people and build the relationship with your folks and help each other grow. I think that's, again, one of the beautiful things about a community our size,
right,
is we can help each other grow and make contacts and spread the love.
Right. No, I mean, I want to thank you for your time today, Amy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just looking forward to our partnership.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.